Here we are.
Today I'm starting one of the biggest projects I've ever done for my channel, transforming this unfinished corner of my basement into a fully functional studio space. The area is roughly 100 square feet and the goal is to design a space that's both creative and practical, something that looks great on camera but also works as my daily workshop and office space. The plan is to build an acoustic wall with full framing. It'll hide utilities like my water main here, but also keep them accessible. I'm basically turning this entire wall into a massive acoustic panel with wood framing, mineral wool insulation, wrapped in a duck canvas fabric, and finished with a vertical wood slats for diffusion, giving it a modern, clean look. Over here I'll have my workbench for tools and builds, and on this side I'll have my desk and recording setup. Once it's done, this whole space will finally let me film, create, and work all in one space.
That's my goal for today's video. So if you enjoyed this, be sure to follow along. Let me know what you thought throughout this video. We're gonna dive right in and probably pick up some materials.
Phase 1, planning and layout. Dimensions, I have about 11 feet wide, ceiling height of about 6 feet 8 inches, and a water main in my way that forced me to get creative. My design approach, framed in new walls using studs, leaving the water main accessible from the rear. I wanted to focus on creating a visually appealing backdrop while using it also to improve acoustics. I wanted sound absorption, flexibility for mounting gear, and a look that fits this YouTube channel. But this is just phase 1. Next I'll be designing my lighting, planning my camera setups, and refining how I shoot in here. Also making sure all my electronics work properly and functionally, along with my home networking, gaming setup, computer setups, tool organization. So this is really going to be an evolving space, and I hope you guys subscribe if you stuck to this length to see all the future changes that we're going to be doing here. And 3D printing is going to be huge on this project because I 3D printed all of these Milwaukee tool holders for all of my batteries, tools, and pegboard mounts. I also designed and 3D printed some IKEA SCADAS mounts that I mentioned earlier. These will house a lot of my everyday tools, video tools, hand tools, power tools, all things that I use in my everyday life and on this channel. So if that sounds up your alley, subscribe and let me know what you thought of this video. So if you're actually looking for 3D printing materials, look no further than PCBWay, the sponsor of today's video. I want to give thanks to PCBWay for supporting this build. They're a one-stop shop for makers, from custom PCBs to 3D printing and CNC machining. Right now they're hosting their 8th project design contest and a 3D printing mascot contest running through November 10th. If you're building something creative, it's a great way to get your work seen by the maker community. Check out PCBWay.com, links in the description, and thanks again to them for making projects like this possible.
All right, we have all the materials we need here. We're gonna include some mineral wool insulation to help keep some of the noise down inside of the framed wall.
I used 2x3 frame studs for a lighter structure and space efficiency.
So I have my rough frame in here that I'm looking for this wall. As you can see there, I ended up butting up against that. I could have pushed it further closer to the wall, but I think I'm just gonna leave it as is with that. And then that will give me enough space here to just frame up another little half a wall to frame out this water intake here. I believe I did decide I am gonna be putting a wall here as well up until this point.
I wanted to use a duck canvas for the wall fabric just because a close woven fabric like this is best for acoustics. The canvas is mounted horizontally for easier coverage and seam control.
All right, you can see what kind of vibe we're going for. I'm gonna be putting slats all in between this area here, but reached a point where I gotta stop tonight. I'll be laying this in next and probably framing up this tomorrow. We got a mess everywhere, but you can see I got my walls framed up here. Got some electrical ran. I'll have to run some from these light switch to the ceilings here, but this is the idea on what's gonna be behind these canvas walls. It's gonna be a mineral insulation that blocks sound. We'll run electrical and we'll pretty much be done.
Behind it, I added a mineral wool insulation for soundproofing and sound absorption, but it also adds some R value to this space, making it a little bit warmer. The Acoustic's benefits here is it dampens reflections of sound and it gives the studio a soft cinematic feel. I wanted to add furring strips to the design for partial sound diffusion. They also give it an aesthetic.
So we have electrical ran insulation in, started putting on a few more slats. You can really kind of see how this is going to transform as we finalize the rest of this wall here.
Once the walls were sealed and insulated, the transformation really started to take shape.
So here's what we got with the wall now. Currently got drywall up on this side, electrical ran, and our fabric up. It's not as tight as I would have liked it on this side, but working with what I got. I'm trying to clean up some of the mess before I try to finish up here.
After skim coating, I finished the new drywall with Sherwin-Williams Agreeable Gray paint, a neutral tone that balances the navy canvas and natural wood perfectly. My uncle owns a paint shop, so he had hundreds of gallons of this stuff. I actually painted my whole house this color as well.
So we're gonna put this rug down here. Kind of matches the aesthetic, but I gotta move my toolbox here, so I'm gonna be moving some stuff to be able to lift that up.
I finished the floor with a low pile indoor-outdoor carpet. Warm underfoot, sound absorbing, and still smooth enough for my rolling chair. It made an immediate difference in both comfort and sound. This is really a space I could see myself spending hours in, which is why I created this. After a few days of cutting, sanding, painting, and wiring, it's finally done. The difference is night and day. The echo's gone, the space feels warmer, and it finally looks like a studio. Now I just need to figure out the rest of what I want to do with this space. But more importantly, we needed to also sound test how it actually sounds in the new space. Check out these videos with before and afters. If you made it this far, I'd love to hear what you'd do differently, what your dream studio setup would look like. And subscribe if you want to follow along the next phase of this build. And thanks for watching. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to address them in the comments section or in future videos.